y bienvenida. So, hi guys and welcome back to Dropping by the Kitchen with Tori. It's just me again. Joey is in the restaurant today, but I'm really excited because Cinco de Mayo is around the corner. That's why I'm like already in festive red. And so I wanted to bring you a really fun and simple recipe in video so that you could bring a little bit of Cinco de Mayo to your house if you wanted to. So it's for me, it's a really important holiday. I love Mexican food. That was probably next to my family, love them all. But when I was living in Spain, this was one of the things I missed the most because I was living in smaller towns and they didn't have really good Mexican food. And Spanish cuisine has different influences than Mexican food. So this week is Cinco de Mayo. You could really make this any time of year if you wanted to. So I wanted to spotlight a really fun and simple recipe for you guys to use and have fun with, and it happens to be something that goes along the lines of Cinco de Mayo. So it has some of my favorite ingredients and some of the hardest ingredients for me to find when I was living in Spain. So it's a Tomatillo Salsa. It has tomatillos, which look like a green tomato, but aren't. Like if you see, the middle looks really different and the flavor profile is different, and it comes from Mexico, which was one of the reasons why I couldn't find this when I was living in Spain. Literally I asked so many people, so I would go to all these different supermarkets and I'd be like, hey, do you have this? It's like a green tomato. And they'd look at me like I was crazy. So really excited. So using the tomatilla, and then it also uses cilantro, which I also love and was also a really hard ingredient for me to find as well. It was something when I was living in Spain, sometimes I'd have to go to 2 or 3 grocery stores in a day or over a week. I would get it and sometimes I would stock up because I would want to make guacamole or I'd want to make some other things. So anyways, wanted to bring you just something really fun and easy that captured these ingredients that you can make year round. So what I've done is I've peeled the husk that's kind of surrounding the tomatillo, and I've just taken that off. It can be a little bit sticky, and so I've washed them and dried them and put them on a baking sheet. And then I cut up just a little bit of onion. I didn't want to do that much because I just didn't want a ton of onion. And then have some garlic that's wrapped in foil. So I found this recipe. I really like Love and Lemon. She has a really good cookbook called Every Day, and so I found this from there, but I made a couple modifications to it. She likes to roast some jalapeno. I don't eat a ton of spicy food. You don't want to be around me if I've eaten a lot of spicy food. My family could tell you I get a little bit more intense, a little more so we're leaving that out. But if Chef Joey was here, he does a really great salsa verde, and he would totally add in jalapenos. Here's the difference. I mean, we went to a family restaurant years ago and Joe can eat those habanero peppers and be fine. He looks cool as a cucumber. I remember I went to the same restaurant. I licked it. I just a little lick, and then I couldn't talk. I mean, I was bring me all the water you have. I mean, I turned bright red, so completely different. But if he was here, and I know my family would probably add a jalapeno, and maybe even an Anaheim pepper, Serrano pepper, just they would add more stuff. But since I'm cooking today and I just want to really nice and chill, and nobody wants to see me really fiery, if you know what I mean, we're not adding the peppers. But if you like that stuff, totally feel free. Like I said, if Joey was here, we'd do another batch and we'd add that stuff for him. So I'll show you my baking sheet. I've already got my oven at 450, and that is already to temp, and then I'll just put this in. But I just wanted to show you guys, this is the baking sheet with that. And so now all I'm going to do is just add our acqua et oleum olive oil. you know, if you forgot what it looks like. And I'm just gonna add like a little bit of olive oil to the baking sheet, and then a little bit of salt, and then putting this sucker in the oven. All right, done with that, and then I'll put it in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes until the tomatillos get really nice and like looking a little golden brown, cooks through, and then we'll just, I'll show you what else to do. Okay, the tomatillos and the garlic and the onions have now come out of the oven. I only cooked mine for 15 minutes at 450 degrees. And I have to tell you, I was smelling these onions and I was like, ooh, this reminds me of going to the ballpark. All right, so I'm gonna let these cool for a minute, take the garlic out of the foil, and I'll meet you on the other side. Back over on this side of the kitchen now that everything is cooled. And while the veggies like the tomatillos and the garlic and the onion were cooking, I was over here just kind of like getting everything ready to then like throw into the Vitamix, the blender. So while I was doing that, I was separating the cilantro. So I'm not a big fan of the stem, which looks like this. I'm not a big fan of the stem. I just don't like it when I'm making stuff. It's great like if you want to throw it into soups, or like you want to throw it whole into other stuff, but something for like this or like guacamole, I don't like the stem. So I was taking the stem off and just like really getting a lot of good leaf for us. And then I was zesting one whole lime, so just like taking this guy, microplane and zest. And then I took 2 limes and just took the juice of it, so that we have that ready to go, the olive oil. And then the recipe doesn't call for it, but I love cumin, and I just love the flavors of cumin. And for me, like, cumin reminds me of Mexican food. So I'm throwing in cumin, but you can throw in other things, leave it out, do whatever you want. So basically, like, the great part of this recipe, now that everything has been cooked, you literally just throw it in. The recipe does use a food processor, but I hate food processors personally. I just don't like the cleanup. There's like too many parts for me. So I'm more of a blender girl, and since I'm at my parents' house for this video, we're gonna use the Vitamix. It's got a little bit more firepower for us. So literally, like, this is a great thing about this recipe. We're just gonna throw everything in and then blend and go from there. Oh, other thing, so remember we had everything in the foil. We had the foil with the garlic. So literally, and like I didn't even peel it before I put it in there. So literally you just put it in and then make the foil packet. So this is what the roasted garlic looks like. I just literally took the skin off, super easy. So throw that in. We have the juice and we have the zest. We have the tomatillos. And then we got our onions. All this like really good juices, actually, if I don't make a super mess. Then we have all the cilantro that I'm gonna throw in. So now we're going to add just a little bit of olive oil to this, just not a lot, but a little bit. So actually today we now have our dipping dishes that actually came in, and they're like one of a kind, hand painted here. Like, I don't know if you can see this, from Mexico. So I thought I would use that today and pour in our olive oil. Okay, there you go. Really fun. One of a kind, great gifts. Okay, I'm done with the product plugging for now. Okay, then this recipe calls for some sea salt. So just, you know, put a little bit in there. And then, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and throw in a dash of, I hope this is good, but just like a little bit of cumin, because I love cumin. But like the recipe doesn't call for cumin, but I just this recipe has like all my favorite things in it. Cilantro, tomatillos, lima or lime, and cumin. So, oh, and of course our olive oil, like how could I forget? Okay, so literally I just threw everything in here and now we're just gonna be blending this, combining it all, and like that's it, guys. Super easy. Turn that off. See how this is looking, if I need to add anything. Okay, that's how it's supposed to look. See that? Okay, so the awesome thing about this recipe too is that like if you want to add more lime, you can add more lime. If you want to add less lime, you can add less. If you want to add something else, you can do that. If you don't really like cilantro, like for example, my dad is not a huge cilantro fan, he would probably tone it down a little bit or maybe not put as much in. But like I love cilantro, my mom loves cilantro, like we would like totally crank it up. So that's it. Found this nice fun little wooden bowl. And just pouring a little bit, oops, sorry, I made a mess. Sorry guys. So poured this in there, you can see that. So really fun. And now, and okay, it's really important, like after you make a really good salsa like this, it's really important that you have a good chip that you're gonna use to accompany the salsa. Or maybe you're gonna use this like for something else. So I don't know, you could use this for like enchiladas, you could use it to dip flautas, you could use it in tacos, burritos, like whatever you wanna use. But it's really important that you pair it with something that else is good. So I'm really excited. There's this little like hole in the wall place by my parents' work. And literally it's like, these chips they're like so addicting. I tell myself I can't eat more than one and I end up eating like half the bag. But okay, so the really important part, the taste test. It's so good. I'm getting the richness and the smokiness from the onions. I'm getting the cilantro, the lime, like all the ingredients. It's like the smoke, it's on point, guys. So it's gonna be a really good Cinco de Mayo. Really good. Okay, well, thanks guys for joining. It's been really fun. I hope you really enjoyed this quick and simple and super easy recipe. Like it's kind of foolproof, for lack of a better term. Like literally throw things like roast with olive oil, throw them in the oven, take them out, get your ingredients ready, throw it in the blender, and like bada bing, bada boom, you got yourself a salsa. So thanks everybody, hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts and happy Cinco de Mayo.